Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. I'm doing a fairly easy project today of making a zippered cover for a throw pillow. And I have to admit that it was a little intimidating to me, and I kept putting it off because I haven't put a zipper in probably over 40 years. I'm making this throw pillow as a gift for somebody who loves basketball and loves the Phoenix Suns basketball team. So I got this licensed fabric at Joann Fabric Store, and I already had the pillow form. I already had this zipper as well. It's a 12-inch zipper. The pillow form is pretty squishy. If I had a firmer pillow form, I probably would have had to have gone with a longer zipper. So I start by measuring the pillow form, and I always run into trouble when I'm working with any kind of numbers in sewing. I just don't do math. I originally came up with 17 inches, but then decided later that it was more true to 16 and a half, and that I should go for 17 inches for the width, allowing a ½ an inch for seam allowances. And I came up with 18 inches for the length, which I should have allowed for 18 and a half inches, allowing for seam allowances. I start by cutting the selvage off. I didn't take into account that I would need more of a seam allowance on the side that I put the zipper in. So anyway, without making it more confusing than it already is, what you need to do is measure the width and the length of your pillow form, if they're not exactly square. Then add a ½ an inch to the width or the sides that will be your seam allowance, and add an inch to the top and bottom or the length that will be the side that you have the zipper on, like if you put the zipper on the top or the bottom. So now I have two pieces of fabric, and I put them right sides together. I put a basting stitch onto my sewing machine, and I basted them with a ½ an inch seam allowance, just on the top or where I was going to put my zipper. Take it over to the ironing board to iron it flat. And my daughter got me one of these nice wool mats for Christmas last year. And so I am just going to open up the seam and iron it so that it's nice and flat. Okay, so this is how I learned to install zippers in 10th grade, I guess it was. And it took a while for me to remember how I did it. So I took the zipper and I almost forgot to lay it right side down. But I did finally remember and put the pull part, lay the pull part going down so that it's bent, and then position the zipper to the middle of the stitching of the basting stitch, and then I pin it to secure it. And here's a little bit of advice from me to you. If you're going to get licensed material to make something, pillows or pillowcases or blankets or whatever, whether it be team logos or Disney or any kind of cartoon character, be sure that you have a coupon for that. Or purchase it on a day, a holiday weekend where they are offering everything half price. Otherwise, it will cost you a fortune. And I don't remember if this part is part that I'm supposed to do or not, but I wanted the stitching on the seam after the zipper to have a closer stitch. And so I just did that over the basting stitch at a 1/2 of an inch seam allowance. I had never installed a zipper before using this machine, so at this part of the project I needed to pause and go watch a video on how to install a zipper using my Viking machine. I have all of these presser foots, but I didn't know which one to use. But after watching the tutorial, I found out that I needed to use the E foot. And it has a left and a right side to it, and so you put it on according to which side you need it to be on. So here I am just taking off my regular presser foot and then putting this on and getting the threads all tangled. And I'm just trying it out on a scrap piece of fabric before I do it on the pillow fabric. But after a quick run through, I'm ready to roll. So it's pretty slick. You just put it next to the zipper, and I backstitched or tacked it down, and then it just then you just sew it on and it just stays next to the zipper. Pretty fail-proof, actually, and if I can do it, anybody can. When you get to the bottom of the zipper, you're going to leave the needle into the fabric and lift the presser foot up and pivot the fabric around so that you can go underneath the zipper. After you've stitched underneath the zipper, then you will leave the needle in the fabric again, lift up the presser foot and pivot the fabric, and then go back down the zipper until you are at the top again. One thing I didn't do that my 10th grade sewing class me would have done is to go back and to zigzag the zipper fabric and the pillow seam fabric together so that they had a nice finished edge to them. And then you just take your seam ripper and carefully pick out the basting stitches that you did to open up the seam for that zipper. And voila! Now I'm matching up the corners and pinning the edges together with right sides together so that I can sew up the pillow. And I'll be using a 1/4 inch seam for that. Although you'll see that I should have started the zipper a little bit further away from the edge of the fabric to allow more for a 1/4 inch seam. But it's okay, I made it work. I had to take off the zipper foot and put on the regular presser foot before I started sewing. So note to self, remember next time to leave the zipper open before you sew up the pillow. So it's really difficult to see the mistake I made with this black fabric because it's black on black basically. But I caught a piece of the zipper flap and it got caught in the stitching and it went down there. Can you see it? So I'm just going to unpick a few stitches to get that out of that stitching and then restitch it, and it will look good as new. I unpicked the stitches and I think I've got everything flat and laying as it should, so I'll just go over that and we'll be ready to roll. A thread looped around the presser foot, so that was keeping it from moving the way it should. Okay, well, so not perfect, but looks good enough to me. So I go ahead and turn it right side out. Afterwards, I went back and I clipped those little zipper tabs that were hanging out so that they wouldn't hang out of the pillow. But I go ahead and turn it right side out, and I'll go back and I'll cut the corners inside so that the points are a little straighter. I am really happy with how this turned out. It's time to stuff the pillow form into the pillow, and if I had had a firmer pillow, it probably wouldn't have fit, but this was a really soft, loose, squishy pillow, and I think it looks really nice. I had also made Phoenix Suns pillowcases to go with this gift, and I'll put a link in the description box showing you how to make pillowcases if you'd like to do that. So here you have the zippered pillow cover for a throw pillow. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. Goodbye.